Imagine standing in a city so vibrant, so full of life and knowledge, that travelers from distant lands call it the light of the world. The air is thick with discussions of scholars and poets, traders and inventors. Everywhere curiosity reigns supreme. This is Baghdad during the peak of the Islamic Golden Age. For centuries, it stands as a beacon of science, art and wisdom, drawing people from across continents to its grand libraries and lively markets. Hi friends, you're watching The Past Unearthed. If you love exploring history's greatest mysteries and how past events still shape our lives, please subscribe, hit the bell icon and join this journey. Today, we unravel the dramatic and tragic story of a city lost overnight and the lessons buried within its ruins. Baghdad rises to prominence after the founding of Islam. By the early 9th century, it's not just the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate, but the capital of learning itself. Nowhere else in the world do so many scholars, artists, doctors, and inventors gather. The House of Wisdom, the legendary Bait al-Hikmah, is at the center, its shelves stacked high with manuscripts from Greece, Persia, India, and Arabia. Here, ancient texts are translated, improved upon, debated, and sometimes even refuted. Baghdad isn't simply copying knowledge, it's creating and expanding it. The city's streets bustle with students and teachers, artisans and architects, astronomers and mathematicians. Baghdad sees the invention of algebra, advances in medicine like surgical instruments and the concept of hospitals, and dramatic improvements in optics, chemistry, and engineering. The arts thrive, with poets composing verses that spread from Spain to India. Under tolerant caliphs, thinkers of different faiths, Muslims, Christians, Jews, Zoroastrians, collaborate in pursuit of truth. Baghdad's markets, filled with goods from 3 continents, reflect this vibrancy. Silk from China, spices from India, glass from Egypt, and jewelry from Europe pass through its bustling bazaars. Even at night, the city glows with lantern light. Artists and philosophers mingle in courtyards, sharing new ideas and inspiring each other to dream even bigger. But even as Baghdad enjoys its golden age, storms gather on the horizon. The Mongol Empire, in less than half a century, has stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the gates of Eastern Europe. Led now by Hulagu Khan, a ruthless and brilliant descendant of Genghis Khan, the Mongols have conquered one great city after another, leaving a trail of devastation behind. Baghdad's reputation as unassailable brings both pride and peril. Caliph al-Musta'sim, Baghdad's ruler in 1258, hears warnings about the approaching Mongol horde. Advisors argue about whether to send peace offerings, negotiate, or prepare for battle. Some believe the city's mighty walls and its status will protect it. Others whisper that the city is not as united or prepared as it once was. Unfortunately, politics, arrogance, and complacency undermine Baghdad's readiness. Al-Musta'sim hesitates and makes diplomatic errors, losing precious allies who might have helped. The caliph dithers while Hulagu sends an ultimatum: submit or be destroyed. Baghdad fails to act decisively, and the Mongols see weakness where once there was strength. In January 1258, Hulagu's forces arrive. It's one of the largest armies ever seen: Mongols, Persians, Christian mercenaries, Chinese engineers. Baghdad is encircled utterly, every road blocked, every escape route sealed. Citizens panic, stockpiling food and praying for a miracle. The atmosphere inside the walls grows tense and desperate. For weeks, the Mongols wait, building siege engines and preparing for a cataclysm. Inside Baghdad, supplies dwindle and anxiety grows. Leaders squabble, fearful but paralyzed. Families pray together, hoping their city's glory will somehow save them. Then the Mongols attack. Stones and blazing fire rain down from catapults, crashing into the city's ramparts. Baghdad's defenders try to push back, but the Mongols are relentless. Towers crumble, battlements falter. The defenders fight bravely, but soon it's clear their resistance is doomed. On February 10th, the Mongols breach the walls, soldiers pour in, and Baghdad, the city of peace, transforms overnight into a living hell. What the invaders do next is among the worst tragedies ever recorded. For nearly 40 days, the city suffers an unimaginable massacre. The Mongols kill without mercy. Men, women, children, scholars and clerics, all are targets. The bazaars, once lively and bright, are looted and burned. Homes become tombs. Mosques and palaces, symbols of faith and power, shatter under cruel blows. The House of Wisdom, Baghdad's greatest pride, is systematically destroyed. Mongol soldiers toss priceless books and manuscripts into the Tigris River. Chroniclers claim the river runs black for days, filled with ink from centuries of collected knowledge mixed with the blood of the slain. Al-Musta'sim, once spiritual leader of millions, is not spared. Accounts differ on the exact manner of his death, but all agree he is captured, humiliated and executed by Hulagu Khan. His dynasty ended in a moment of utter despair. The story doesn't end here. In a single month, a city revered for 8 centuries as the seat of learning and culture is reduced to rubble, its people scattered, its brilliance extinguished. For survivors, the tragedy marks an end not just of a city, but of an era, the Islamic Golden Age. But what caused this disaster? Was it inevitable, given the Mongols' overwhelming force? Or could smarter leadership and unity have saved Baghdad? Historians still debate. Some blame internal division, arrogance and complacency. Others note Hulagu's invincible army and strategic genius. If you are finding this story powerful and want to know how the world, then and now, was changed by this tragedy, hit that like button and subscribe to the Past Unearthed. Part 2 will dive deeper into what happened next, how survivors kept knowledge alive, and what lessons history offers us today. Baghdad's destruction in 1258 stunned the world. Survivors wandered through streets littered with ruins, monuments, homes and libraries reduced to ash and silence. For days after the massacre, the city seemed haunted by the memories of what had been. Bustling markets, lively debates in courtyards, the steady hum of scholars working late into the night. Now, only grief and confusion echoed. But while buildings may burn and crowds may vanish, ideas have a remarkable way of surviving. As smoke drifted over Baghdad, a handful of survivors escaped the carnage, carrying precious scraps of knowledge and hope with them. Many of these refugees were scholars, scientists, and poets who fled toward cities like Damascus, Cairo, Cordoba, Isfahan, and Samarkand. Some traveled alone, hiding manuscripts in satchels or beneath their clothing. Others moved as families or small groups, seeking safety in distant lands where new intellectual communities could rise. Imagine a historian arriving in Spain, bearing a translation of Aristotle, or a physician in Persia sharing discoveries made in Baghdad's hospitals. These wandering minds ensured that some of the city's intellectual treasures did not die altogether. With time, their books, teachings and memories would spark new inspiration far from Baghdad's ruined walls. Ironically, the devastation of Baghdad helped spread the fire of science and philosophy across the world. Cordoba in Spain, already a center of learning, received scholars who reignited debates and translated Arabic and Greek texts into Latin and Castilian. In Cairo, students eagerly learned from refugees versed in medicine, astronomy, and mathematics. The ideas behind algebra, optics, and even surgical techniques continued to influence thinkers from Europe to India. These fragile threads helped preserve what could have vanished forever. Medicine advanced, trade flourished, scholars built on Baghdad's work, leading to Europe's Renaissance and later scientific revolutions. Even today, mathematical symbols, medical terminology, and philosophical questions trace their origins back to a Baghdad that no longer exists physically, but survives in human thought. Yet the loss was profound. Many books, inventions and poems were gone for good. The world's collective knowledge suffered a setback measured not just in decades, but in generations. Baghdad's light, once dazzling, was dimmed. This tragedy changed how civilizations viewed knowledge and security. Rulers in other empires began to preserve books by copying them in multiple places. Philosophers warned that arrogance and intolerance led not just to personal downfall, but also to the destruction of communities and cultures. The lesson was hard learned. Greatness, once lost, is difficult to rebuild. Let's pause and imagine living in the centuries after Baghdad's fall. Across the Islamic world, education and innovation slowed. Political intrigue increased. Some cities tried to replicate Baghdad's fame, but few could reach its heights. Science persisted, but hope darkened. For many, Baghdad symbolized what humanity stood to lose when wisdom was cast aside. Is it possible, though, for knowledge and culture to ever truly die? History suggests that human ideas are too powerful to be erased completely. Baghdad's story reminds us that learning can survive adversity, but depends on people's will to protect and share. Why did Baghdad fall so terribly? Was it only Hulagu's army, or something deeper? Scholars say internal division, arrogance, and blind faith in reputation played major roles. The city's leaders neglected unity, failed to listen to warnings, and ignored new threats. Some historians believe this pattern repeats across history. Great societies often decline from within before external dangers finish them off. Are these lessons relevant today? Absolutely. In our world, buzzing with new inventions and international connections, it is easy to take peace and knowledge for granted. But Baghdad's fate urges vigilance. Arrogance, division, and ignorance threaten any society's progress, political, academic, or cultural. The loss of Baghdad's libraries warns us about censorship, intolerance, and the fragile balance between security and openness. This story also teaches hope and resilience. The survivors who rebuilt libraries in other cities, the teachers who inspired students in foreign lands, and the poets who mourned Baghdad in their verses, all remind us that creativity and courage endure, even in disaster. If ideas are nurtured even after tragedy, progress can be recovered and even accelerated. And so, centuries on, the spirit of Baghdad lives. In medical textbooks, mathematical formulas, and the wisdom found in libraries worldwide. Every time cultures share discoveries, every time students question and research, they echo the energy that once filled Baghdad's golden streets. As we end this journey through one of history's most dramatic losses, I invite you to reflect, what lesson does Baghdad's story teach us about our own times? Where do you see echoes of its triumphs and mistakes in today's world? Are we protecting what makes us great, or are we on a path that could lead to similar sorrow? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to help preserve and promote knowledge, if you believe history matters, then please subscribe to the Past Unearthed and ring the bell for future episodes. Let's keep these lessons alive. Together, let's make sure the light of curiosity, courage, and wisdom never goes out again. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, keep seeking the unknown, questioning what seems certain, and exploring the truths that shape our shared past.